surprised. He added, "It's in my lymph nodes and my liver." "I'm so sorry," Joanna murmured. "So very sorry. Does anyone else know?" "Only Rose," he said. "I'm not ready for the guys around here to start treating me like the cancer guy with one foot in the grave, even if it's true." Joanna couldn't help half smiling at that. When it came to gallows humor, Ernie Carpenter had always been at the top of the class. "So here's the deal," Ernie continued. "I'm letting you know that I'm pulling the plug as of January 1st. Rosie and I have talked it over. The seeds gave me a pretty good run, but it looks like that's coming to an end. I'm not going to put myself through some kind of god-awful round of treatment that would maybe give me a few more months at best, but zero quality of life. That's not fair to me, and it's sure as hell not fair to Rose. I'm going to take my retirement, and the two of us will hit the road. We'll travel while I can travel, and when I can't do that anymore, we'll come home." He left off there. The recurrence was bad enough news, but the idea that Ernie planned to forego any additional treatment was stunning. Joanna's first instinct was to ask, "Are you sure?" But the set of Ernie's jaw caused her to stifle. Yes, he was sure. He and Rose were sure. They had obviously reached this conclusion together. This was their business and nobody else's. "How can I help?" Joanna asked quickly. "What can I do?" "Keep this under your hat for one thing," he replied. "You find sympathy in the dictionary between shit and syphilis, and I'm not interested in sympathy. I wanted to give you a heads up in advance so you can start getting your ducks in a row as far as detectives are concerned. But I don't want a lot of hoopla about this. I'll tell Jaime, of course. He's my partner and I owe it to him, but that's it. I'm not telling anyone else." Joanna thought about that before speaking up. "I'll give you a week," she said. Ernie seemed taken aback. Clearly that kind of terse response was not what he'd expected. "I beg your pardon?" "You have until a week from today to tell Jaime whatever you decide to tell him about why you're retiring. You can let him know about the cancer or not. That's entirely up to you. But after that, all bets are off. If you don't want to be labeled cancer guy on your way out the door, you'd better put on your big boy underwear and announce your upcoming retirement, because there's no way in hell I'm letting you leave this department without a retirement party, and that will need to be scheduled ASAP. Got it?" Sitting there at her desk, she met Ernie's gaze and held it. He was the first one who blinked. "Yes, ma'am," he said finally. "I hear you loud and clear." He had stood up to leave just then, but paused at the door and added, "By the way, I'll be using up some of my vacation time and taking tomorrow and the next day off. Rose and I are going to Phoenix to pick up an RV, and we'll be spending the night." "Goodo," Joanna said with a wave. "Travel safe." When the door closed behind him, Joanna was left alone with the term RV echoing in her heart. When her mother and stepfather, Eleanor and George Winfield, had hit retirement age, they too had dived into the RV life, expecting to spend many golden years cruising the US of A. Unfortunately, that plan had been cut short. A hail of bullets fired by a troubled teenager from a highway overpass had forever ended George and Eleanor's travels together. Joanna dreaded the idea that Rosie and Ernie's traveling days, too, would soon end in a somewhat different but equally tragic way. So it was hardly any wonder that when she'd turned back to writing her report, she hadn't been up to the task. "Well, Mom?" Jenny's exasperated voice broke into Joanna's reverie. "Have you heard a word I said?" "Sorry," Joanna replied. "Something was going on, and I was distracted." "What were you saying?" "I was asking if you and Dad would mind if I brought someone home for Christmas vacation." The fact that Jenny routinely referred to her stepfather as Dad was something that never failed to gladden Joanna's heart. But Jenny was planning on bringing someone home for Christmas? Who? A boyfriend, maybe? Jenny had friends who were boys, most notably.